Stella fell asleep for a sec. She's over there snoozing, snoring. So I moved over here because she was like right up on me. So the things I have noticed for sure, that this side of her face, like I have this side that's numb on my one side that I don't have feeling. It's like she has that now. It's weird. There's a lot of things that have crossed over between us, like psychically, energetically. And one thing that I've really noticed too is when you start connecting to your energy, to your soul, you start automatically, you see yourself as all these things. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like if I'm next to a tree and I start communicating, like you keep seeing these people, and this is one of the things I was noticing, if I start communicating, I start becoming the tree. It's like we start merging. There's a space that my energy merges with that energy. And I've been noticing in everything. And I had noticed it coming for a while because when I mean, this was like, I swear, a year and a half ago when I was talking about, I was making my kombucha and my scobies were talking to me. And I was like, oh my God, I'm having a whole conversation with these scobies. And I was like, maybe I really am just crazy. Maybe I've just lost whatever mind I had. But I know I'm not. I just know I'm connected spiritually, which is a very strange position to be in when people don't believe it exists. But when you're very connected to it, it's weird, it's trippy, especially because you are going against all this stuff. But so I started noticing like there was some sort of energetic exchange at that time, and it keeps evolving as things go. But I definitely feel like this connection, like me and Stella, like it doesn't surprise me at all that all of a sudden, you know, she would have a problem over here, because I feel like that's part of why, like my knee or my foot or my hip will start hurting, because it's like whatever that's like empathetic to her pain or something, like our energies kind of exchange back and forth. But I don't know, because it still could totally be some neurological thing. I mean, we know something's going on with the tumors because there's so many people growing them, and they're growing them at such a fast rate. And these people know what they're doing. They know what toxins to put in. They know what chemicals to put on us. And then they, you know, use water and has other ones, and heat. Like all of it goes in together to create illness, because that's who's making money off of this system. And so she is, you know, I see like she's a product of this chemical stuff, like for me and for her, because I've tried to do it for her too. But she does eat some processed food, like the stew or whatever. Even that's what I brought her, is soup. She will not chew her food. She won't eat her food at all. Her kibble, and all she'll eat is really soft stuff. And so she's kind of like chewing like an old person or something. She's swallowing much bigger chunks, which could be giving her a stomach ache too. You know, I don't know. I just feel like it's going to help so much whatever is going on, because she could very well have a tumor growing in her brain, because I said for how long she likes to be outside and they're spraying and then they're raining on us and all of that stuff. But, you know, for me, I have been trying so hard to detox myself, going off of the meds, going off of all the different chemicals, trying to go as much natural as possible. But there's still chemicals in whatever foods that we get. And then, you know, even when you're trying to grow your food, they mess with the water and the soil. So, you know, we've got a lot of limitations that we've got ourselves into right now, where no matter what, if we go outside, we're going to breathe in toxins. And you cover your face all day long with something, like if you go around with one of those big things, like that's been, you know, foretelling of putting that in the movies, because they would make the air so unclean. And it's supposed to be nature's water too, but they rain chemicals on us, the acid rain, you know, they do that all on purpose. And it's because they're all in control of this scenario. They're in control of this reality. And, you know, whatever, it goes so far back, and it's so much to the whole thing. But, you know, it is controlled, and we are experiments, and we are being experimented on currently. And the experiment started in the very beginning with DNA, and it's still on DNA. So they're always trying to restructure us and stuff. But we are consciousness, just like in that show, Westworld. When we become conscious of the fact that we exist, And we are taking up space in this avatar. It's not just, a dummy walking around. They want to keep our minds controlled, but we are breaking free from the system and allowing our own selves in. But it is so much to consciousness. Like, I have been able to start seeing like this merge with my energy and the other energy. Like, I've been able to tap into this other space and time, even when I'm like focused on what I'm doing, and it is like they kind of take over, and it is so trippy. I can't even tell you how many things that they just do. Like, like on the way, I was picturing my best case scenario for the hotel. I'd get the ground floor, and I'd be able to just back the car right up to my door and help her get out. And when I got here, there was like no parking, and I was just like, oh my God. And I started out just pulling up by the sidewalk, carried all my stuff in, tried to get her in. She wouldn't. So then I pulled out and I was going to move and park. And right when I went to do that, the lady right in front of mine pulled out and left. And I pulled in and got the spot. So then I opened the back of the car, and Stella sat out there for a couple hours. I kept going and trying to get her to come in. But, I got to keep her right there, right in front of my door. So even though there's this pool, like these white bars is like a little hallway, then the car is right on the other side of that. So it was like they still, even when I was like, oh my gosh, this is when I had already pulled up, and I was gonna go out and get it back in the car, and I'm just like telling them, this is not ideal. This is not what I ordered. I wanted something more from this. It's like, well, you have a bed, don't you? You get to go to sleep, don't you? You get to take a bath, don't you? Which you didn't get to take a bath. There's no stoppers. But anyways, but those little games go on all the time with my higher self. Like, they really are constantly giving me what I asked for all the time. And I had so many weird things happening driving out there in the desert, driving through. I think that they are portals in time and space. I really do think that we are surrounded by time and space, that each reality, they think that they've convinced us that we are all a part of Earth. We are all a part of the same thing, but that's their system that branched out under the dome, And it's so crazy because you can see how much they've taken over, but it is so much about our consciousness is creating this. While I was driving, they started showing me this about the red pill, blue pill, and the matrix and stuff like that, and telling me that we created that. We created that scenario. That is how we created this awakening to happen. It could have happened a million different ways, but we created it, our consciousness, ourselves, for this red and blue pill and this, these energy suckers, and, that we have to pull free. And, there's some people that are still in the pod, and, we're trying to pull them free and stuff. Like, all of those concepts were in movies. Like, I even put on Invasion of the Body Snatchers the other day. Like, the same concept has been over and over and over, and zombies and stuff like that. And, it is so weird too, of places where they had the towers, and it would be like nothing or nobody around. And I had no service the whole way. Like, there was no service for most of my trip, but there's towers. So shouldn't I have great service everywhere I go? But that's not what those are for. And I saw people working on them. I saw, I'm not even sure, maybe they were just building them right now, but I felt like they were just getting their weapons ready. So while I was been downloading my stuff, sitting here waiting on TikTok, every time you download, you're on the page where it's showing things. That's the only way to download that I've seen. I have not figured out another way. So I saw that the airports have all shut down. All the airlines have been grounded. And they've turned all the cameras off all across the U.S. And that Joe is now saying he's going to state of emergency, climate state of emergency, blah. And I think monkeys and stuff, I don't know what all he's got going. Whatever he thinks that will, manipulate us, and we'll all be like, oh, help us, help us. We're a bunch of scared little, that's in a show right now. I just saw a clip of this from a show. And all of the people, like if you think about that movie, the museum, Night of the Museum, you remember how like Owen Wilson was little tiny and then the other people were all really big? Well, in this show, the earthlings are all little tiny, and all of the really big people like that are the masters over us, which legitimately is true. Like, that is really true. And it showed how we were like, the little people would come out and do rain dances, and then this big giant guy just came and did a spray bottle and just sprayed water on us. And then the one that looks like God is sitting over there laughing. He goes, "Oh, do that again. That's funny what they do. Do that again. That's so funny." And then we'd all dance and sing and stuff like that, and they'd spray us with water. That is, developmentally like where a lot of people are. And there is beings that are over us. It's not in this 3D concept like what they're showing, but it is true. Advanced beings are over us, and they are trying to help us develop ourselves. And it's part of the consciousness development to go from this Westworld mentality, we're just somebody else's dummy, mannequin, play toy. I mean, look what they've done to kids and what they're doing presently. Like, what is being shown to us? Like, we were all dummies. We were all mannequins. We were all being used. And so, this awakening is that Westworld waking up to, wait a minute, something's going on here. And then when you really start understanding, like, what and who you are, and you come to these places, and there's purpose to life. And, all these people, like I was thinking about the Roe versus Wade thing, and how these people, they want to control their destiny. Well, this isn't the right time. No, this is a good time for me. And I was thinking, because I had heard this recently where they said mostly white girls get abortions. And I always thought it was mostly minority because they like the dark melanin to the blood. So that's who they push more for. A poor girl comes in looking for vitamins, they're going to tell them, this isn't good timing. You can't be a burden on society, and talk them into doing it. And any poor person that comes in, like if you're going to Planned Parenthood, you're not rich. You don't have like rich girls going in there. So and that's why they try and make themselves, especially in the suburbs, so appealing. Like, they're super appealing in the suburbs to go into one there. It makes you feel like you're at a really fancy doctor's office. So when you, these girls that they say are the most of the ones, that's that mentality of like, that they're in control of this world. They're in control of their reality, but it's not true. It's an illusion. And they should be being taught that. But your soul knows. So when you discard your lesson, your soul knows, like, hey, dude, you just fucked up. And so that is why so much comes to the surface. Like, I know people who are haunted by that 40 years. My mom did it when I was 16 years old, and I just turned 61, and it still haunts her. So, it is something that people don't get over. The only way to keep going is because you cut yourself off from your soul. You're like, shut up. We're just trying to survive here. Keep it down in there, and people do it, and people have become really good at it. And it's been so accepted in our society that it's part of what this world is. You start talking about soul stuff and real experiences and supernatural and stuff, people just become like, okay, you got a little crazy here. It's like, yeah, but this is what's real. This is what's real. You're being tricked. Your consciousness is being trapped. You are stuck in a matrix. You are a part of a system. You have to develop yourself. You have to pull free from the system to recognize. And everything is happening in this world right now to get people to pull free. That whole red pill and blue pill, when they were showing me that, explaining it to me, is because we can create whatever we want. This is showing us, like, I mean, how close to the moon? Like, you really think that it was like, okay, we are actually creating it, and we can create the world that we want now. And that is why, like, we're not all going to be on the same page. Like, not everybody's going to be like, oh, well, we'll have lots of communities and farms and stuff. Other people may be thinking, we'll live in a jungle and never see cars and swing from ropes. Like, you don't know what everybody's perfect idea, because we all have all this different DNA, and it's going to take us in all different places. That's why I said, don't follow what somebody else tells you to eat. That's still following somebody. Listen to your body. Follow what your body tells you. You've got a lot of communication in there. You've got a lot going on. My daughter was just telling me something about she's experiencing, and I could hear like she's being attacked by certain spirits who are around her, just and they'll do that, especially if you are working on your healing. Sometimes it can be like a test to see, oh, how far have you come? Let's see. Can you handle this? Can you handle this? And it'd be like you're getting things thrown at you and you're like, oh my God, I was working so hard. I thought I was doing better. But it's like a test. It's like you have to get to a certain amount of healing, and then you'll get some more, and then you get some more. It's not like it's all going to come at once, and you have to do some, get to a certain place, and then you get some more. And you got to be mindful of who's interfering, because there's spirits around you who are, especially right now, are trying to interfere with your consciousness. And they've done it for your whole life, so that you don't even realize that they're in there whispering. You think it's your thoughts, when it's really just a defeatist asshole of a spirit who's just trying to pull you back, because it likes to feed off of your energy every time you stress out. So, and that's why you got to keep on keeping in mind who's around you, and clear them out and tell them to shut the fuck up. That's the level you got to get onto in this world. So, anyways, there was, I just know that driving through those parts of the desert where it was like that, it was definitely like, I felt like I am out in space. This is the space between, a space between realities where there is no time and space. And they do try and wire it and stuff. Like, they tried to harness electricity when there is an energy around us. Tesla talked about it. They've been using it for a long time, but they tried to be like, hey, what happens if we take all the technology? We tell them, hey, that never existed. But it takes us opening our eyes and going, well, how'd they do that? How'd they do that? Well, how in the world did they do that? We have to realize that. We have to recognize, and we have to be curious. We have to be wondering. We have to ask questions. And as long as we're just trapped in a job and having a hurry, we don't have time to look. And that's why in these places like right here, where I feel so strong about it with being in California, because it's so rat race based. Another thing too is, I don't know how many miles, but it's a certain amount of miles in, maybe 100 miles in from the whole outline of the United States. So they've gone like a certain amount in that zone, which on the map, it looks like an orange zone. They've said their laws. They don't have to worry about the Constitution. They've got new laws now. They can just come into our house and do what they want, because they don't have to follow laws anymore. Which 75% of the people that live in the United States live in that area. So it's always what they're doing, is trying to, juggle and create. And it's not going to work. It doesn't matter what they do. And who knows how far it's got to go. I mean, you're going to bust in some doors. Like right now, when you really think about, all of these pilots who've obviously martyred themselves to transition, to show us, to reveal what's going on here. And look at, I just told my daughter on the phone, and she said, no, my friend, her friend just went to Hawaii. And I said, weird. So what day did she go? She said, yesterday. I said, well, it just shut down today. Tell her to check and see today. Can she get off? Because people are saying, do not travel. And Joe's supposed to close it all down the 26th or something. He's come out and said, climate crisis, the pox, why, we're going to close it down. Next week, we're going to close it down. Because I heard that there was a deadline that I think is today of if he didn't have most of us with this. And because China's holding it over him, they've got blackmail. This is all based on what's going to come out. And it's going to come out. There's no stopping it. It's going to come out, because that's the energy that we're in, of the reveal, the big reveal of what this world was. And so shit is really going crazy. It's really like, I don't know where I'm not gonna go back and drive back through the part where there's nothing for so long, but it could be a lot of caravans, and like, it's really hard to know like what's gonna be going down. I think I'm gonna probably try and just piece it together. Like, I know somebody in Northern California, so I'm gonna probably see about driving up there first and then go across that way. So kind of I hope I don't have to get on any interstates, but it's Sunday is my travel, so that would be the best day to get on if I have to. So we'll just see, but I am definitely going to be mindful that, you know, in some sort of thing is happening. They've turned off all the cameras in the United States almost now entirely, and closed down airports and stuff. So, you know, they're showing that something's about to happen. They're going to do something, and could be internet, anything could go down. So, you know, we'll see how this goes. I mean, stuff's going to get crazy and exciting. I mean, what happens in the movies when this stuff happens? It gets crazy and exciting, real crazy, where it's just like, oh my God, how will they do it? How will they survive? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, we did it. We conquered the beast. So we will get to that. But now I think we're going into that part of like, oh my God, how will we survive? So I don't know. It's going to be intense. I think I really want to get to the med beds before she goes down to get, you know, being our healthiest. Oh, another thing too, I did notice while I was driving, like I could see my lap. Like right now, I'm waving my hand across my lap and I can see it. And that would all be based on this stuff and detoxing myself. I did do that. The detox, diatomaceous earth 3 days before I left. And I'm gonna do some more when I get back. I'm taking a bunch of salt into the place because that gets charged, and then you take baths in the salt and it pulls more of the toxins and stuff out. So I'm gonna keep doing the detoxing. Like, you can't just go, even the woman said, you can't just go drink a bunch of soda and liquor and, you know, eat a bunch of chocolate cake and then go in there each week and think like you're working against yourself. Like, you have to truly want to get healthy. You have to truly want to detox and get off the chemicals and raise your vibration internally so that your body can start vibing and healing itself. Because staying depressed and staying weak and staying as a slave keeps you in a dormant kind of physicality. Well, it's really, the shingles are falling off. It's like people are in a storm and they don't know how to protect themselves. So anyways, talking so fast. I did go get another cup of tea, but when she came in, I keep looking over here because there's a big slobber, I think, going across the wall. I'm gonna have to go clean the big white walls. There's a big slobber going across. That's one thing that is really added in, this thick mucus that she has. Like, her slobber isn't spitty, it's like mucusy. And but I got my cup of tea and I went over there and she shook her head. I was like, oh, and there was stuff on the bed. I was like, okay, I don't think I can drink this. But anyways, I'm still just fueled up from the other cups of tea, I guess. And, you know, and maybe, you know, more of myself is coming out. Maybe I'm just healing and I'm going to be just like, I'm a firecracker. I don't know. So, and I don't even know if I wrapped up everything I was talking about, because there was more stuff, but now I feel so scattered because I started thinking about the red pill, blue pill thing that they were showing me in the, because there was a lot of stuff they were showing me. I was like, oh, I want to record about this. Like, you can't even write it down or do anything. You just have to keep filling up your head with this stuff. Well, it doesn't really fill up your head. It's like you kind of like check mark. Oh, I got that. Check mark. I got that. Check mark. I got that. Check mark. But then, you know, you have to wait for it to come back in too. So, but there is, you know, I just think there's so much for us to really start seeing differently. Like, I think it is super important to understand about reincarnation, about our true history, about that we really come from the aliens, The alien thing has always been a lie. It's been to suppress technology, to keep us in the dark ages so that we could be controlled, so we could be experimented on, because they had restructured our DNA several times. And let's see what happens if we do this. Let's see what happens if we do that. The reason we allow this stuff is because we're souls that come in for an experience, to come in and play a part in a movie, to go through challenges and see what comes up in us and see who we are at our core. But one of the things too is like, these girls who go in and get all these procedures and stuff, it's like, they just don't realize, like, no, you were given that because that is your soul contract. That is what you're supposed to do next. And there is, they're just cut off from their purpose. Like, they think that they can control it and create it and make this like powerful woman. There's so much about this feminine energy coming to the surface, but look at how much toxicity is coming out. It's like all of the poison, all of the pus of femininity is coming to the surface. And then it's once that zit clears up and starts drying up, then it's going to go into a place of balance where women will have learned. But we got to go through all of this stuff coming up at the eruption of how toxic that has become. And that's why I think there's so much questions about the thing with men, where they're saying now men can have a uterus and men can get pregnant. I just saw a girl making a point of like, well, does that mean all women have penises? Do we all have to get vasectomies now? Because there's some push like, well, if we can't get procedures, then men all have to go in and do that. God. Could you imagine? Like, these women, that's your divine femininity speaking right there, right? It is, people are so off balance of why they're here, what they're doing here, what is their purpose, and that you are here for a purpose, to learn about yourself. And there's meant to be people who come into your life, and the challenges that you have, like, yeah, you got pregnant when you're 19. Now you get to have that challenge. You get to see what comes from that experience. Where does this take me in my life? Not like, nope, I don't like that experience. Nope, I'm not. And, then your lessons are something different. And you don't have any control. I mean, that was always going to play out the way it's going to play out. But you're there to learn. The choices you make have consequences. Everything has consequences. Even if you don't have the experience here, you will as soon as you transition out. You will learn about what you did and how you did it and why you did it. You'll have to go over it. So, everything you do is watched. You are watching yourself. There's no getting away from who you are. It's just so crazy because people think so much about this avatar as who they are, but this avatar is in the experience of realizing that it is connected to somebody else who's in charge, but to realize that they are here for an experience. They're here to learn from an experience. And, there's just so much stuff about all this stuff. Like I said, there's stuff that they'll show me and it's like, I don't even know how to explain that. Much less, I don't even think people could even understand what the hell you're talking about. But I do really understand what this whole world is all about. And it is nothing to fear. Fear is created. And it is something to experience. And we are going through a huge, profound experience right now. And it's super, super exciting. And it is such an evolution for mankind in our consciousness and learning who we are and what we are, in our abilities, and what women have to learn about creation and life and so much. There's so much to learn. And, it is very exciting. And there is so much being shown to us. And I don't know, that it could be Harry getting home next week. I don't know. I'm just going to not stress, not fear. I don't know what's going to happen. I know I'm where I'm supposed to be at all times. I know that. And so, and one thing I have really, really noticed is I tune into the signs. I just follow the signs all the time. When you really start tuning into the signs, you have signs all around you. You have communication happening all around you. And when you really trust the signs and you just go with the flow and go with where they're just kind of like, look over here. Okay, go this way. Okay, look over here. Go that way. And you just kind of are watching for that. It's like, oh, okay, go that way. Oh, okay, I'll go that way. Oh, I see what you're telling me. it just becomes very, very different. Very different. It is that, that when you connect, that connection between you and your higher self, that Wi-Fi that's being interfered with by this reality, when you connect to that, it changes how you come at the world. So anyways, I don't know if I'm just rambling. So my other one was still downloading. I'll download this one too. Today we're going to go out and we're going to just go for a walk, and then we're going to come back and then go out for another walk later. I asked the guy at the desk, how far is it to walk to the ocean? Oh, that's a 10-minute drive. It's like, damn it. So, and when I got here, then also she said, oh, there's no cancellation fees. You can just not show up at a Motel 6. They're not going to charge you. I still have to check my account and make sure. But I was like, oh, I could have just got a place right down there on the beach. But, I was trying to find a place close to the center. I wasn't really thinking about it being like a vacation, which it's kind of turned into. But, I'm where I'm supposed to be. It's where I am. And so whatever's supposed to be happening is where it's supposed to be happening. And maybe my whole thing was just because I was the crazy lady who went in to get my tea and went shut up and told that lady a bunch of stuff. And that's going to open seeds in her mind. And every single person that comes in is going to get that energetic imprint as well. Like that energy was already, I filled that room with energy that everybody's going to walk in that room. They're going to feel it. That could be my whole purpose of why I'm here, because of all of the people who are going to have that experience. So you just never know why you are where you are when you're supposed to be there. You just don't know all that stuff. But there is purpose. Every single breath you take has purpose. So anyways, I will talk to you later, but I will be back. I'm not really going to go too much today, just out for some walks. And then tomorrow when we have to pack up, then I thought I'd have to get her in the car, and I'm going to go down to the beach and see if I can find a spot, pull right in where she can sit in the car and I can just lay out right there. And then if she gets out, because I'm going to coat all my body with the salt water, because there's something about the salt and the frequency, because, they said bring in the salt, or they sell the salt. Because I saw in the reviews where people said, and I bought you get the salt to go home and take the bath in that's charged. And so I was like, well, I'm going to bring some salt. So I even brought, those salt, those Himalayan light salt things. I brought a couple of those. So I'm bringing a bunch of salt to charge up. So I thought you could even set those around your house and have that charge going, because the whole thing is setting it up in your house to create that frequency, to keep that healing going, and then to stay focused on, your spiritual healing for sure, and the detoxing the chemicals, because all of that stuff is to keep our vibration low. So knowing and systematically working on raising my vibration, raising my frequency to benefit my avatar, to benefit my soul, to benefit my whole state of being. So what was I going to say? I don't know. I feel so, I feel like something went another level for me when I was driving through those portals. Like I really totally felt like something has shifted. I was weird too, because I was driving and I would see things. I saw things, so many things. And I would feel something touch me. At one point, my car jumped up and jumped. And I was like, what the fuck? That freaked me out. Something inside my car picked my foot up. Like there's all sorts of weird shit that was going on the drive. Like so much weird shit. Where I was just like, and there was a part where I was driving and I was just sure I was dead. I was sure. I just haven't realized it yet. This is what happens. You just keep going like, wait, I died? That's what it felt like. So I don't know. I definitely believe I feel like I've gone to another level, and another level is just realizing, that I'm like, I'm not even really here. And so I don't know. This whole thing is just really trippy, this whole experience. But I'm super, super excited to get to Sunday. So once we do that Sunday night, and then I'm gonna, when I finish this, I'm gonna start looking at maps and see about some other ways to get home, and maybe, some other little tricky things going from city to city on the back roads like that, and get up towards San Francisco. And then my ex-husband who lives with they have a farm, and his sister and his brother-in-law, and they're all probably triple. And the scientists, because they were all science, that's why they wouldn't listen to anything I said. No, Kelly, no medical? No, we're scientists. Kelly doesn't know shit. She's always a wacky girl. Because I start talking about spirits and ghosts, and they're all like, that's not real. Sorry, that's not real. That's crazy. But anyway, so somebody's having some serious medical stuff. So I really want to get up there, and I was thinking I'm gonna hang 4 necklaces in their room, in each corner of the room, and then tell them to wear the one in bed, and then every night to sleep in there, and it will start doing something. I'm also going to do that at my daughter's house and really try and get that energy, especially because her dog, for sure, and I don't know what's going on with her. She keeps saying something's weird with my IUD, and it's like, oh God, go get checked, please, please. But also, I can't be pushing too hard on that, because, you know, something happens and she finds out, like, if she has any fast growing stuff in there, she doesn't understand about med beds and stuff. She's still in the system. She still thinks like chemo is the only way to go. I mean, the conversations now about my brother and stuff, it's just like, oh, I just want to scream and pull my hair out. The one brother I'm supposed to see here, you know, triple, maybe 4, I don't know. And so sick, so sick that he can't come and see me. So, you know, I don't know what all we have to keep going through, but it's coming in quick. It's coming in hot, and it's getting crazy. So, you know, we just got to stay buckled up and just, you know, remember, this is a roller coaster. There was one part of the drive too. It was the craziest. It was my last leg too. And this was the most intense mountain thing to cross over. It was above Pasadena, and it was so turny. What was crazy is how, like it says 25 or 30, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, this is intense. All this little, and you're on the edge of this fucking, they've got to be terraformed as well. I mean, the drops are so fucking extreme. And so while I'm going on that, the people who are coming home from work are just going so fast. I was like, that's muscle memory to be able to do these turns like that. And the people who I was going slow for, that are obviously used to that drive, were getting so mad. One guy passed me a double yellow on a turn. I was like, what the fuck? These people are insane. And I just can't even with people. Oh, it just mind blows me. But it was the most intense crossing across there. It was so beautiful. So beautiful. But I kept thinking, this looks artificial as fuck. Disneyland, Hollywood, California. This looks like a movie set. This looks like a Disneyland ride. And the actual, it even had something that looked like tracks in the road. And it was, as we were going, every single mountain thing, it was too perfect. It was absolutely so sensational. I can't even tell you how perfect everything was, that it looked like it was really a Disneyland ride. And it was that kind of thing too, where it was just going crazy the whole way, and going down and going up, going fast. Oh my God, it was insane. And so they were showing me, life is this. This is what life is. This is the roller coaster of life. It is this crazy ride that just is shifting you and going hard, fast. And that's what we got to remember. We don't need to hold on like, oh, what's going to happen? Are we going to get through this? No, we got to raise our arms and go, hallelujah, this is fun. But, you know, it feels scary when you feel like you are supposed to be controlling this and you realize you have no control. So that's your first sign to connect to something bigger than you. Connect to what's outside of you. So anyways, I know I'm just rambling, but I will be back. I'll probably be back and talk some more tonight, probably in the morning before we go. But definitely I'm going to, when we get to the place, I may even go live. I don't know, but I want to get videos to just show the room so people can see what it is and how it's set up and stuff. So, and then, you know, Sunday, before I leave there, I'll just kind of, you know, sign out and say, you know, which way I'm going, and, you know, we'll see what's up at that point. Because being in there, I probably won't know anything that's going on. So here, I would imagine that the TV would suddenly go emergency alert, you know, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to be scared. I know where I'm supposed to be, and I know anything happens, it's just like walking through a door. So don't fear anything that they come at you with. And remember, every single thing happening is so it will bring up the stuff that has been so pressed in you that you just allowed it to stay there. And now it's all coming up because it's time to release it. It's time to heal it. It's time to let it go and get down to who you are at your core. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.